Coming at you from a small, well, I don't know if it's a small town, but it sure is a hopping one. A place called Alice, Texas. If you look on the map, that'll give you an idea where yours truly is. We had to stop off and do some laundry on our way to the next campsite. We got a plan. Hey, y'all, I'm going to tell you, this autonomic nervous system, the ANS, oh my gosh, ANS awareness is next level awareness. When you know, oh, I'm in the car, so we're going to do what we can. It's not hot outside, but it is a little stuffy, so we're going to see how the phone does. We're up a little bit earlier than 2:30 p.m. Eastern time, which is about 9 minutes, well, now 6 minutes before the actual 2:30 p.m. Eastern time, which is 1:30 p.m. Central time. And as you can see, we are doing this True Blue podcast format instead of video. It is video, but it's audio. Yes, so if you have a question as to whether you are supposed to be looking at my profile picture, the answer is yes. Because we have figured out how to turn the camera off when we don't want to be on camera. It isn't that I don't want to be. It's just I don't know if that will help to save some of the battery here. But we had to stop off and get us some brunch. I had to get myself a stronger strap for my cargo bag that is on the top of the car now, which I talk more about on the Patreon channel in the live replay from our Motivational Monday show, which is now on the Patreon channel. So, when I say that ANS awareness is next level awareness, I'm going to break that down for y'all. And I don't know how, this is a quick message, okay? This is a quick truth seeker podcast. All right, you all, quick. Because I do have clothes in the dryer, but I wanted to get up here and give y'all this so that you know, the more aware you become of how your autonomic nervous system is responding to things. Oh my gosh, that is next level awareness. And I mean, whoo, let me tell you, because that muscle tension, it ain't no joke. It ain't no joke. Your ANS will tell you, but you got to be able to be aware of it. You got to be able to listen to it. You're like, wait, but my autonomic nervous system, it doesn't talk. Oh, yes, it does. Oh, yes, it does. Your ANS is your threat detector. The autonomic nervous system is the primary target for traumatization. When I learned about the ANS in my trauma training, I understood, okay, the autonomic nervous system is your threat detector. Okay, I understand that. And then your amygdala. And y'all got to realize, I am Michelle Dickey, a trauma specialist as well. I'm a consultant, master consultant, coach, trauma specialist, minister, and author. I'm also your instructor at CHAAcademyBTBW.com, where I bring you Trauma Intensive Healing Course number 1, the inner workings of our autonomic nervous system. That is when my ANS became a case study, because that was the one thing I was not aware of yet. You can be reconnected. You can be healed from the trauma in mind, body, and spirit, meaning psychologically, emotionally, and spiritually. Yeah, that's that reconnection. You can have that all day long. But if you are not aware of your autonomic nervous system and how it's responding when it's talking to you, if you're not aware of that, then the devil has one more opening. The devil has one more vulnerability. That's your ANS, that's your physical body. And that's why the Jezebel case study launched her physical assault on yours truly back in 2023. And ever since then, we've become more aware of our ANS. That is the next level awareness. I thank y'all for hitting the thumbs up. Don't pay attention to no snakes in the chat, okay? Don't pay attention to no snakes. All right? Don't get distracted. Listen, this is the message.
Our ANS, that is the.
All right, there we go. And so, yes, I am trying to pull up the chat here. And it looks like it's a little bit different when I am going vertical. Okay, I see y'all. Okay, thank you for subscribing, Joseph. Welcome to the growing community. Hello, Florence. Yes, y'all gotta give me a second to pull up the chat on the other device, because on the one that I'm on is a little bit difficult. But yes, okay, thank you for letting me know. And I'll say hello back to y'all. But your ANS, your autonomic nervous system, okay, your autonomic nervous system, that is your inner child. I teach that a lot for a reason, because it's true. I saw y'all. I said, yes, hello, Florence. Hello, Joseph. Hello, fellow warriors. Thank you. All right, thank y'all for hitting that thumbs up as well as you come on in, because this is so important to understand for trauma healing and spiritual growth. Remember, spiritual growth is getting closer to God, because it's God who's revealing all of this about the ANS that He created. You have to remember something. I say this often because God created our bodies so strategically that it is going to talk to you. You just have to know how to listen to it. So how do you learn to listen to your ANS? Well, when you got muscle tension, right? That is like the thing that the devil loves to see. These narcissists out here and the evildoers, they love to see that muscle tension, especially in the jaw. So that's where you start. I talk a lot about this also on the Patreon membership channel. If you've got jaw tension, oh yeah, then you've got ANS issues. And what I mean by that is that your ANS is frozen in that spot, basically. Because what has happened over time with all of that traumatization, the abuse, is that it causes muscle tension, which leads to hinder, because without proper circulation, we don't get the nourishment and the nutrients to the places in the body that they need most. Your muscles need oxygen, but if they stay tense all the time because your ANS is right, because of loud noises or whatever, and I'm gonna tell y'all something, excess salt, that is a leading cause of muscle tension because of the radio frequency out here. I'm going to tell y'all, you learned how your ANS responds to high frequencies and low frequencies, and that's the start. That's how you get started. That is how you start listening to it, because it's going to talk to you. But you can't be distracted. You can't be around a bunch of people trying to distract you. You can't be around a bunch of noise and pestilence. You know, God said, don't fret about that noise and pestilence. And you can't be around all that and expect to hear your autonomic nervous system, that inner child, when it's talking to you. Because that next level awareness, when you become aware of your ANS and how it is responding, then you'll notice. I'm gonna give y'all an example. There was a spot in my upper back, my lower neck area in there, and it was taking a while, but it was so tense, it went deep, and that was because of all of the, well, it stemmed from the physical assault, but okay, we have come far from that. We have progressed so much from that, and we have learned a lot from it too. I tell y'all, what she tried to do, blessings in disguise, because now I can bring to you all these inner workings of our autonomic nervous system. Again, at the academy, that course, when you go to CHAacademybtbw.com, click on all courses, and you will find the Trauma Intensive Healing Course #1, the inner workings of our ANS, because that was during the season where my ANS was a major case study, and I've got 25 short, easy to understand chapters for y'all about it, so that you become aware of how it's responding to things out here, to the sights, to the sound, to the smell, to the taste, to the touch, because our ANS relies on our 5 senses. It is dependent on our 5 senses in order to be able to properly interpret whether something is a threat or not. So what happens when your autonomic nervous system, that inner child, when it is traumatized, it cannot properly identify a threat. And that is what the Matrix and the devil want, because the Matrix wants to keep people traumatized. All right, the Matrix wants people to keep living in fear. Well, 1 John 4:18 tells us that perfect love casteth out all fear, and God is that perfect love. But you ain't going to get access to God without Jesus. So once chosen ones are awakened to all of this, and you start to realize that, okay, I'm healed from the trauma. Yeah, and you know what? We are. We're connected in mind, body, and spirit. We're good, right? But our ANS was still wide open for the plucking. Now, here's the thing. When you become aware of your ANS and how it is responding, once that happens, you take that opportunity away from the devil once and for all. He ain't got nothing else, because the battle we face ain't physical. Okay? In Ephesians chapter 6, God tells us, he said, we do not wrestle against flesh and blood. Okay? We're wrestling mainly against spiritual wickedness in high places. The high places in the mind. High places in the mind. So when you stop and really get to know your inner child, it can heal. See, once you become aware of how it is responding to something, it knows what to do automatically. It's the autonomic nervous system. It operates automatically. Well, see, the thing is it can be easily conditioned to operate incorrectly as well. That is something I have learned. I said, oh my gosh. I said, over time, as a response to certain sounds, my ANS was responding incorrectly. It got conditioned to respond a certain way. Think about Pavlov's dogs, y'all. That psychological experiment, it is no joke. It is for reals. Like every time he hit that bell and put food down, over time, the dog's ANS, okay, the autonomic nervous system, the dog's ANS got conditioned to salivate. Because what does salivating do? Salivating is a form of digestion. It is your saliva contains digestive enzymes. Y'all can look that up. It ain't no secret. Your saliva contains digestive enzyme. And what is your ANS? Oh my gosh, let me tell y'all something. Your autonomic nervous system is responsible for a plethora of biological function, and digestion is one of them. In particular, your vagus nerve, the motherboard of your ANS. And if you're not aware of the fact that your vagus nerve is getting stressed out, well, then you just be clueless that you're walking around a big old tense ball. Yeah, you're just walking around with as a big ball of tension, which is what the devil wants to see. Because that let the matrix know that you ain't circulating properly. So that nutrient and nourishment not getting where it needs to get, especially oxygen. And then your body's not eliminating the excess like it should be. And so our ANS is largely responsible for all of those functions. And it has two systems, right? It has the sympathetic system and the parasympathetic system. Y'all can look that up too. Your sympathetic system is responsible for sweating. Sweating is one of the significant ways for detoxing, to get rid of excess salts and other toxins. That's why it stinks, because I've learned that salt in excess is very stinky. It is a stiffener. It can also, in excess, cause things to be very slippery. And it also stinks. Okay? Has a very bad odor. Excess salt does. And I'm just like, wow. And so you've got to do a self-assessment as you're getting to know your ANS, because it is so important, that next level awareness. And the more aware of it you become, the more it corrects itself. What I mean by that is, when I noticed that my ANS was responding incorrectly to some sounds, I said, okay, we got to work on this. As soon as I became aware, my ANS said, oh, I got to get on that. For example, as I alluded to, or was alluding to earlier, okay, as I am learning more about it myself, I noticed that there was this ball of tension at the top of my back, at the base of the neck area. And I've been working that sucker, trying to work that sucker out. And I said, what is it? What are we missing here? And it's because my ANS was responding incorrectly to high frequencies. Yep. Because that area of the neck is so close to your audio, right? Yeah, to your hearing and your jaw muscles. So my ANS was responding incorrectly and tensing up at the sound of high frequencies. Which is what high frequencies is supposed to do that. And high frequencies, by the way, are what used to activate mercury, another metal salt that is also used in dental work. So be mindful of that as well. Okay? And what I want to tell y'all, okay, is that once I became aware of that, my ANS woke up there and said, oh, I need to get on that. Because see, your ANS also plays a role in the biological healing. Yes, your autonomic nervous system, the ANS, plays a big role in your physical, biological healing. That means the relieving of muscle tension, getting rid of the muscle tension by helping the body get rid of the excess salt that's causing the muscle tension when exposed to high frequency. I said, oh my goodness. So my ANS was responding incorrectly. Thank y'all for hitting the thumbs up. And I wanted to bring that to y'all. This is next level awareness. ANS awareness, your autonomic nervous system awareness is next level, let me tell you. Because when you do that, you realize that I tell y'all this for a reason. Your thoughts are spiritual power. And your thoughts control your ANS. The enemy knows this. Okay? The devil knows this. A lot of people know this. Your thoughts control your ANS. Because it works subconsciously, automatically. Your thoughts are formed in your subconscious mind. So when God awakens us, we become conscious of our subconscious mind. So now we got to become aware of the ANS and how it's responding and what it's doing. And making sure that it's responding correctly so that it jumps into gear and heals where it's supposed to heal. And so I was sitting there during the live stream, during the Motivational Monday message on Patreon channel. And I felt it. Because I noticed that tension in the area of my upper back, lower neck. And I said, oh my, I've been trying to work that thing out for weeks now. I noticed there's a little ball there. And like a big knot. And I said, okay, my ANS keep responding incorrectly. And I said, I can tell the evildoers, the ones that are demonically possessed out here that keep trying to pull these shenanigans with antimated salt molecules and whatnot, trying to sabotage our healing. Well, it don't work. Because I caught on to it. And I said, okay, that's it. I said, ANS, I said, what you doing? I'm talking to my inner child. The ANS is your inner child. And I said, okay, so what are you doing? I said, why are you skipping over that part of the back? I said, you're supposed to be relieving. I said, we've been massaging it and everything. And so after I had that talk with it, I became aware, like super aware that, okay, we got this needs to get worked out. And so by itself, and the ANS kicked back into gear. And I told it. I said, I'm telling you, in my subconscious mind, now I'm thinking about, all right, we got to work that out. Got that in my subconscious mind. I'm delivering the live Motivational Monday message on the Patreon channel. And about halfway through, I felt it release. I felt that knot finally release. And I said, glory be to God. I said, my ANS is awake and at work. In that spot where it needs to be. And I'm going to tell y'all, oh my gosh, and then the sounds around me returned to normal. Things did not sound louder than they actually are anymore. See, that tension, that my ANS was not responding correctly there. And it was keeping things sounding louder than they actually are because of that muscle tension. And because inside that muscle tension was a bunch of excess salt being held there by the muscle tension and the slowed down circulation. So I said, okay, we're gonna have to work on that. So I got it in my subconscious mind that needs to be worked out. And eventually my ANS picked up and said, oh. And so then every time we become aware of something, our ANS is responding incorrectly. Okay, hold up a second, we got to correct it. And a lot of times, though, all we have to do is take note of it and your ANS will automatically correct itself. It had the ability to correct itself. Glory be to God. When I learned that, I said, man, that's like some next level awareness right there. I said the ANS had the capability to correct itself. But see, if we keep on remaining oblivious to the radio frequency poisoning and excess salt and how it plays a role in manipulating and traumatizing the ANS. If we don't know that, it will never get that chance to correct itself, because it can. I said, that's so cool. So cool that the ANS can do that. There are some things that we'll need to help it with, sure. But our awareness of it is all it takes to get our ANS back in alignment with operating the way that God intended for it to operate. Your ANS needs to be back into alignment and operating the way that God intended for it to operate. And you will see an increase in that nourishment, like we are promised in Colossians 2, verse 19. We will increase with all of that with the increase of God. And that's what's happening. The more aware of our ANS we become, the more it can correct itself, and the faster our biological body will heal and overcome, because it will help to get rid of the excess. Your sympathetic nervous system will jump back into gear and start sweating when it's supposed to. And so your parasympathetic nervous system is also a part of your ANS. So there's a lot going on there. Now, let me give you all this awareness. What do you need to help your ANS get back on track? Muscle mass. Because when you look at the physiology and anatomy of the human body, or an animal body, okay? Same thing. That when you look at it, what do you see running through those muscles? Your nerves. That's your ANS. Those nerves run through every muscle in your body. Your jaw muscles, your tongue, your brain is a muscle. I want you to think about all the way down to your big toe muscle. Your ANS, your heels, your fingertips, everything in your body. Your autonomic nervous system runs through every single muscle in the body. Your kidneys are a muscle. Your bladder is a muscle. Your stomach is a muscle. Your esophagus contains muscle, right? Yeah. So your ANS runs through all of your muscle. You start losing muscle mass, then your ANS has nowhere. Where's it going to go? Where's it going to go? Right? What's it going to go through? What's it going to circulate through? You understand? Next level awareness here. Your ANS is in large part your circulatory system. Your ANS is part of your circulatory system because of the communication channels that go through every muscle. How is it that your muscle will tense up when there's excess salt and radio frequency poisoning? How can that happen if your ANS was not part of your circulatory system? If your ANS was not part of your circulatory system, you would not have that kind of muscle tension taking place when there's excess salt, radio frequency, and trauma. So your ANS, there's your next level awareness right there. I want y'all to drop it in the comments below, even on the replay. I want you to drop it in the comment. Next level awareness. That's going to let me know who's still here. Who's still with us. Because when you become aware of this stuff, you don't unlearn it. And do not get complacent with it. And don't take it for granted. I'm going to tell y'all that right now. Do not take the next level awareness for granted. Because that is from God. The next level awareness of your ANS, man, let me tell you, that's from God. And when you know that your gluteal nerves, your main gluteal nerve, is also a part of your ANS. Every time you sit on your butt, you're sitting on your main gluteal nerve, which is a part of your ANS. And if it has any discomfort from air pockets around it, little discomfort, okay, let me tell y'all something. To relieve that discomfort, I highly recommend herbal remedies like Boswellia. We got to get off of that over-the-counter crap. That over-the-counter crap contributes to the manipulation of your ANS and puts more toxins in the body that don't belong there. That's part of our combating radio frequency for healthier living, y'all. That's what it's all about. Heightened awareness. So when you think about all of that and you realize that we got to detox, and you're going to, whether you like it or not. When you're healing from trauma, you're going to detox because your ANS has got to be rewired almost. However, like I said earlier, it will, given the opportunity, it will correct itself in many ways. But it has to be, right, it has to be distraction-free. You have to be in fresh air, no noise and pestilence, and you have to really be going through the renewing of the mind, right? In Romans 12, verse 2, we teach that a lot for a reason, because it's true. We cannot be conformed to this world. We are being transformed by the renewing of the mind, and that's what's happening here. So going through the renewing of the mind is that next level awareness of our ANS and how it's responding and reacting to things. Our five senses, how is it responding to that? Touch, taste, smell, sound, sight. How is it responding? If you look at something, are you getting chill bumps? Is it responding in fear unnecessarily? Okay, you got to take note of that and go, hey, that ain't no threat. And the more you get that in your subconscious mind, where the ANS operates subconsciously, automatically, you remind the ANS, hey, that ain't no threat. That ain't no threat. That ain't no threat. Whatever you're looking at and it gives you goosebumps, that means your ANS is responding in fear to that, to the sight of whatever that is. And you're like, yo, we ain't afraid of that. That's not a threat. That's not a threat. And the more you do that, it eventually will stop responding incorrectly. So like I said, it will correct itself in many ways. And then there's some things that we will need to help it with. Just like you're the parent. You know, we are the parent of our ANS because the ANS is our inner child. So that's how we've got to parent our inner child. So that wraps up this episode today, y'all. Real quick to give you that. The truth. We are seeking truth in this ministry as we should be. Iron sharpening iron. And yes, I'm paying attention. I see y'all in the comments. I thank y'all again for giving this message a thumbs up. We need to spread the awareness. We need to get people more aware of their ANS. Because when you become more aware of your ANS, your inner child, then you will get fully, and I mean 100%, 1000% healed from the trauma. And you take away the opportunity for your ANS to be re-traumatized, the physical. You take that opportunity away from the devil and narcissists, and that's it. That's it. You take that opportunity away from the devil and his minions to try and attack your physical again. Once you become aware of that ANS and how it's responding. And then also use your discernment. Don't allow yourself to be alone, especially with a Jezebel. Okay, y'all? If you must interact with narcissists, where possible, make it a public place. Do not allow yourself to be alone. Do not be partakers with them, the Lord says. And so we are in obedience to God, always. Don't hesitate to reach out with any questions you may have about your ANS, trauma healing, spiritual growth, and then combating radio frequency for healthier living. Drop it in the comments below, or you can send me an email. I highly encourage y'all to check out the description, okay? Check out the links in the podcast description below, the website, and then check out the pre-recorded Truth Seeker podcast on rss.com. And then it's also on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Music, and more. We got weekly pre-recorded messages going up for y'all over there too with this very podcast. We go live on this YouTube channel with the Truth Seeker podcast every Tuesday around 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time, God willing. And if I'm not going to go live, I'll let y'all know in this YouTube community tab. That's why I encourage y'all to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss when we're not going to go live. And remember, the Motivational Monday show, the Let's Just Chat show, and Saturday Bible studies have moved to the Patreon membership channel, which is also in the description below for quicker access. And you can join us for those live Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Again, every week, God willing. Right. For as little as $5 a month, everything that y'all sow into this ministry goes right back into our growing community of spiritual warriors for Christ. And a huge thank you and God bless you for all of that. If you would rather pledge a service grant, aka donation, you can do so at the PayPal, Venmo, or Apple Pay phone number in the description below. All right, we take all three. And you also have a CHA accepts grant / donation page right on the website as well. So we thank you again. All right, everybody. Thank you all, fellow warriors, for your continued support. All right, thank you for watching and listening. Until next time, let's show some gratitude to the Heavenly Father, and you keep being you. In Jesus' name, amen.